So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Esri Young Scholars Award presentation ceremony. I'm Gigi Lee, today's ceremony's MC. It is our honor to have engineer Wai-Chi Singh being our guest of honor today. Let me make this chance to thank you, all of you, who joined this ceremony in person and online. Today, geographic information systems matters more than ever. This year, YSA participants have all shown their care for the society and determination for a sustainable future. Let's watch a video.
It's all happened here. Everything we've ever known, done, loved, took place on this drifting, spinning ball that's our home. It's where we learned to provide, nurture, protect, thrive. And yet,
wildfires are scorching the West Coast, leaving behind a path of death and destruction.
15 inches of rain this morning.
The waters keep rising, and according to the National Weather Service,
our very success now threatens our future. Today, our greatest challenge is to learn how to grow while sustaining what sustains us. Your understanding, your science, your work are the solution. You have the power to see patterns and relationships and show us how everything and everyone are connected. You have the power to transform how we produce and consume, build and maintain, unite and strengthen, heal and nurture. You can help us see that we can no longer live apart from nature, but must live as part of it. Today, geography matters more than ever. The geographic approach, your work, and the billions of maps you make are essential for creating a more sustainable future.
So here is our agenda today. We'll first start with a welcome speech and event introduction, followed by an award and photo taking section. And then we will have presentation from our winners. And then we will end with a panel discussion. The Esri Young Scholar Award program was launched in 2012 to recognize the outstanding work in geospatial science of undergraduate and graduate students around the world. With nearly 30 winners honored last year, it gives students a golden opportunity to participate and showcase their GIS research in the Esri User Conference, which is the world's largest spatial technology conference. May we now invite Sophia Paul Tsui, the CEO of Esri China Hong Kong, to deliver the welcome speech. Paul, please.
Thank you, Gigi. Engineer Wai, academician, Professor Ye, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome all of you to this meaningful event, and I'm very pleased to see so many familiar faces, long time no see. Thank you for being here with us today, no matter you are joining us physically or online. I'm really pleased to see so many participants to come physically to support our young scholars today. Geographic information systems, GIS technology, is the foundation for the development of smart city and the key to solving the world's most pressing environmental and social problems. We believe it is essential to nurture and equip the young generation the capability and skill harnessing this innovative technology to become smart talent. Hence, we have worked with Education Bureau to bring our professional GIS platform to all primary and secondary schools in Hong Kong for free through our Map e-learning program since 2015. For tertiary education, we also offer a very generous software package to various university faculties to ensure that all of their academic staff, researchers, and students can access our latest technology freely at their leisure. During the pandemic, all the students have to study at home, and we enable them to install our GIS software in their own machines so that they can learn and do the lab assignment from home. I'm pleased to tell you that the Department of History in Baptist University has just launched the first spatial history undergraduate course in this academic year. Our software platform also supports researchers to conduct their research to advance the science and bring impact to the society. For example, Hong Kong U used our platform to study the relationship between the rate of people commuting via MTR and the spread of COVID-19 diseases. PolyU used our 3D GIS technology to enhance the accuracy of GPS in the urban canyon area. The impact is not limited to the Earth. Actually, the researchers in PolyU also used our software to map the dark side of the moon. Back to today's ceremony. This is the 5th year we hold Esri Young Scholars Award in Hong Kong. From the screen at my back, you can see the winners in the past years receiving their awards in Esri User Conference in San Diego. This award aims to recognize current undergraduate and postgraduate students studying in different disciplines at universities for their exemplary work and innovative applications of GIS. This year, we decided to hold a local physical prize presentation ceremony because not only the winner can travel to the US to receive their award, but also we would like to let our local users be aware of the good works done by our young students using GIS technology. Finally, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Engineer Wai as our guest of honor for prize presentations today, and URA's great support to enroll our award winner into their summer internship program. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank all the 16 judges, including Engineer White, for sparing their time and effort to going through all the StoryMap entries and select the winners. I know this is a difficult task since all the entries are with high quality and standard. Last but not least, please join me to give a round of applause to the Young Scholar Award winners and the students joining the award this year. Thank you. Hope all of you stay healthy and thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul. Now comes to the award and photo taking section. We will now invite our guest of honor, Engineer Wai Chi Sing, GBS JP, to present the YSA Award for us. Engineer Wai is the Managing Director of the Urban Renewal Authority, and he is also one of our honorable judges. Engineer Wai, please. Our second runner-up goes to Mr. Daniel Lui. Daniel comes from the University of Hong Kong. His project title is Plan Smart, Build Smart. The first runner-up goes to Mr. David Cheng. David studies in the University of Hong Kong. His project title is Exploring the Transit-Oriented Development Level of Hong Kong. The champion goes to Mr. Eric Lee. Eric comes from the University of Hong Kong. His project title is Save People from the Concrete Barriers. He is also the winner of the Best StoryMap Design Award. Let us now invite Paul and all judges and the mentor of our winners to take a group photo on stage. Please. Yes, maybe we now invite all judges, all our judges and our mentors of our winners. Congratulations to our winners. We would now like to express our sincere gratitude to our judge panel for their valued contribution, including Dr. Ho Leung Ao, Professor Adrian Bailey, Mr. Ben Chen, Professor Leslie Chen, Professor Wu Chen, Professor Jack Cheng, Professor Jimmy Feng, Sophia Takming Ku, Professor P.C. Lai, Dr. Jianfeng Li, Engineer Qi Sheng Wai, Professor Donggen Wang, Dr. Lang Wang, Professor Christopher Webster, Professor Paulina Wong, and Professor Anthony Ye. The competition would not be a success without their support. Thank you very much. Now let's move on to the presentation section of our winners. They will present their projects by using StoryMap. For those who are joining online and have questions on the presenters, please type your questions in the chat box and we will follow up in the panel discussion. Now may we now invite Daniel to present on his project, Plan Smart, Build Smart. Daniel, please.
Hello, Engineer Y, Sophia Tsui, Professor Tang, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. So it is a great honor for me to receive this recognizable and promising award. And for here, I'd like to give thanks to Esri for organizing this event and also everyone who, those who supported me and guided me all the way. So yeah, so okay, Plan Smart, Build Smart. I'd like to here to share with you the potential and also advantages of applying BIM and GIS integration into the process of urban development, maybe, yeah. So especially in the stages of planning and design. So the famous American writer, Helen Keller once said, alone we can do little, but together we can do so much. So I do believe that integrating both platforms and technologies could make the world a better place. But why do we have to do so? So let's do some background studies. As you all know, BIM and GIS are two major developing platforms in the field that have been getting more mature and more recognized for the past years. So both of them contribute and achieve their goals successfully in different areas, such as spatial analysis, site planning, and also architectural building design. However, there are some limitations remain to be solved. So first of all, is actually about their relationships. So as we all know, on one hand, GIS is based on the urban context with geospatial information. While on the other hand, BIM relates more on the building content. So, but in order for us to look the whole picture in a digital realm, we need both of them in order to see the picture more clearly. So another problem is the data fragmentation and also the information fragmentation. So we all know that if systems are disconnected, they actually discourage information flow and also the collaboration between stakeholders. So it also will create duplicated data, or it requires more resources or time in order to do the information flow and also collaborations. And these problems all lead to the problem of planning and design, where maybe we could discover less design considerations, or we may miss out some important areas. So which is that we need BIM and GIS integration for the better connection of both platform and harness both areas and both of their strengths in order to build not only about a better digital realm or a digital twin, but also we want to use both as a powers to make better planning and design. And at ultimate goal is to create a better, smarter, and more livable community. So yeah, I'm not so sure what's going on, but yeah, and basically the ultimate goal is to create something called CIM, City Information Modeling. So it's actually a very largely sophisticated system, which allows architects, planners, surveyors, and all professionals to come close together to collaborate on citywide projects or citywide designs. So yeah, and there are some examples, and let's move on. Yeah, so in order to do the this project, I used a combined ERA site, which is KC's 012 and KC 013, and also used GIS and ArcGIS from Esri and also Revit from Autodesk in order to do this project. And then, yeah, this should be the location of site, and there are some site photos. And throughout the process, I would like to emphasize something about the integration process. So actually, during the data transfer, something quite interesting popped up. Actually, there are two situations for the integration to take part. The first one would be the data compatibility, which for the suitable versions, the Revit project file could be easily put into the GIS environment. So the other version would be the data incompatibility. So in this situation, I discovered that using an IFC format, which is an open beam element format for data interchange between BIM models, in order to downgrade the Revit model from a newer version to an older version, which becomes compatible to the GIS environment. Yes, and then moving on, I think those won't be working for this project. Never mind. You can always go to the ArcGIS StoryMap to view my projects. It's okay. Maybe I'll emphasize the CIM part, which is the most interesting one. Actually, yes, this one. Yeah. So actually, it's nighttime today, so maybe that will. Yeah. Okay. So actually, as you can see, this is my BI model, and actually, it's already imported into the GIS environment. So what makes it even better for this GIS and BIM integration is that from here you can observe the simulation of the after construction stage and to interact with it. For example, you can have the shadow sunlight customization. We can have some section slices. And you also go to different views to check the stationed views of the projects. And also, most importantly, all building information are actually documented in the GIS environment. For example, when I choose this floor here, you can see is actually located in level 4. Which type of floor is used, for example, generic 300 millimeter. You can see here. Also, actually, all building informations can be read and also accessed in the GIS environment. More importantly, we can do some CIM analysis. For example, we can check the building height relationship between the development, also the surrounding areas, to check whether there are some possibilities in worsening heat island effects. We can do some shadowing simulations. This is a 24-hour simulation to see whether shadowing is going to impact the site surrounding also the streets. And also we can do some noise pollution assessment in 3D, which in theory, so we can use this 3D assessment to assess whether our buildings are actually in the same match with the analyzed results. For example, the orientation of flats, whether they are facing the louder streets or not. And most importantly, we can do some future analysis to see whether what views these flats will going to see, or what they are going to have, or what angles they're going to see when they purchase these flats. So yeah. And then yes, this video could be better. This is a website that we that is made for showcasing the whole project, and also to see how views can be incorporated into the BIM model. And from here, you can see that, for example, going to a flat A view, you'll see from the balcony what view is going to be the buyers or the residents would know before they purchase the flats. So it's actually a very good tool to visualize and to analyze the future developments at a planning stage virtually in just a computer, and we can do everything within it. So let me conclude it with a quote from Jack Dangermond. The application of GIS is limited only by the imagination of those who use it. So in the future, I think urban development will be more promising and more have some more significant opportunities from BIM and GIS integration. And I hope that in the future, with more infrastructure such as the CSDI, it could be more advanced for all of us to use, to explore, and also to enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. We will now have David to present on his project, Exploring the Transit-Oriented Development Level of Hong Kong. David, please.
Hi, everyone. It's my honor that I can have a chance to share my story map to everyone. And first of all, I would like to thank someone because the story map is a part of my dissertation. I would like to thank my dissertation supervisor, Dr. Zhou Jiangting, and my classmate Leslie Lei and Tommy Chan. They also gave a lot of innovative experience for me. And finally, I would like to thank all professors in the Department of Urban Planning and Design at the HKU. So let's start with my story map. Okay, so my topic is about exploring the transit-oriented development level of Hong Kong. In this topic, I would like to use a spatial multiple criteria assessment approach, and I would like to explain this approach later. So first of all, what is TOD? TOD aims the integrations of transportation and land use together. They would like to encourage and provide very vibrant and convenient urban life to the citizens. It's a process that reconnecting transportation and land use, which helps future development of today's cities, necessities, and outlook of sustainability, as well as the integrated management of currently available resources. So Hong Kong's an international financial center. It has a more than 7.5 million populations according to the Census and Statistics departments. It is also one of the densest cities in the world due to its geographical characteristics and its limited development areas. It has a total land area about 1,100 square kilometers, while the developed land area is less than 25%. So Hong Kong has a very dense population density. Although it has brought some curse to Hong Kong, it also provides some favorable condition for Hong Kong, as Hong Kong is well known for its TOD, in order to facilitate efficient and environmental friendly way of development. The government has emphasized TOD and MTR is at the core of TOD strategy of Hong Kong, where the framework of public transport reflects the concept of rail hubs, and it is supported by secondary modes of road-based transport. According to the World Bank, Hong Kong is chosen as the top 3 of the benchmarking cities in their report benchmarking transit-oriented development among 14 cities with remarkable success in TOD. So why I would like to do this topic, because I just read a lot of literature. I just found out that those TOD research related to Hong Kong, they are lacking of regional level study of TOD. Most of them, they're just focusing on the station level, which is about a buffer, which is about 800-meter buffer area of those station level. That's the reason why I would like to conduct this study related to regional TOD of Hong Kong. So I divide the methodology into 3 parts. The first part is about the preliminary stage, which is about to prepare the material and data for GIS analysis. The second stage is about GIS process stage. I would like to input those data into ArcGIS Pro and do some data analysis. And final is about spatial analysis stage. I would like to use the TOD index formulate from previous stage for further in-depth analysis in this stage. And again, I'd like to show this criteria to all of you, which I have explained before. They include density, diversity, design, destination accessibility, and distance to chances. And under them, there are 12 TOD indicators. Those TOD, those data, they are collected from very reliable resources, such as from Landsea or OpenStreetMap or Google Map API, or some of them, they are from ArcGIS Online and population by census. And on the other hand, I would like to adopt an analytic hierarchy process, which I have explained before, because every TOD indicator and TOD criteria, they may have different contributions to the TOD index. So I would like to ask 12 experts related to TOD to explain to ask their preference about TOD, so I can understand which TOD indicator and which TOD criteria, they will have a higher importance contribution to the TOD index. This is the formula that I calculate after I conduct a 12 questionnaire from those experts and calculate the contribution of those TOD index indicators. On the other hand, the spatial units for evaluating the potential TOD index, I would like to divide whole Hong Kong into 5,000 grids. One grid is about 500 meter times 500 meter, which is about 0.25 square kilometers. And as every TOD indicators and criteria, they may have different units. Therefore, I would like to normalize them so that they can integrate together. And this is the formula that try to integrate those indicators. And finally, it is about spatial multiple criteria assessment approach, which has demonstrated in the very beginnings of my story map. This is approach to merge those criteria and indicator together. You can see this graph, it demonstrates a concept, how I try to merge them together, because I just try to divide whole Hong Kong into many grids so that they can integrate together. And the final step is about spatial statistic analysis. So let's demonstrate to you how I calculate the TOD index. The first TOD indicator is about density indicators. So density means the degree of compactness of something. So in the context of land use and transportation, it's the accumulation of opportunity in a certain area. So I would like to use population density to explore this aspects, and its data is just extract from population by census at street block level, and I So you can see the visualizations of these indicators. And another indicator is employment density indicators and the calculation methods. And it is also very similar to population density indicators. And as the calculation method is also very similar to the previous one. So I'm not going to get very in-depth about it. The third indicator for density criteria is about building density. I use the building footprint to calculate these densities. And this is the building footprints of Hong Kong. And this is how I visualize the indicators. And the second criteria is about diversity criteria. And I have two main indicators in this aspect. The first one is about land use criteria. I mainly use the outline zoning plan of Hong Kong to evaluate these aspects. And you can see the specific land use and outline zoning plan. And I try to divide them into several aspects. And then you can see the visualize of outline zoning plan. And I use this formula to calculate the density, the land use mixedness indicators. Because of time limitation, I'm not going to get very in-depth into those calculation method again. This is about POI indicator. The third indicator is about design. The first one is the pedestrian roads indicators. And I also obeying this from like the Hong Kong government. They have like 3D pedestrian networks, and I just use that data set to calculate it. And this is the visualizations of that indicator. And then the 3D pedestrian network again, but it is about the intersection points of it. And the final indicator in this aspect is about the slope gradients. And this is a very few scholar would like to use this aspect, but my dissertation supervisor actually just suggests me to use this aspect because like Hong Kong is very hilly city. And then we just think that this aspect should also be considered if you want to calculate the TOD performance of Hong Kong. And this is the topography indicator, how we visualize it. And the fourth criteria is about destination accessibility, this is the visualize of some things. And finally, it's about distance to transit indicator. I use like the MTR stations and those bus stop stations buffer to calculate these aspects. Because I have to hurry up. So finally, I would like to merge those indicator and criteria together. And this is the visualize of the TOD index. So you can see like the darker the area means they have a higher TOD index, while the lighter the area, they may not have a great TOD performance. And after this, I would like to using this TOD index mapping, I would like to use global analysis and regional analysis. Global analysis, I would like to find whether there are some like correlation, spatial correlation of those places. And then for local analysis, I would like to find out the places like where they may have great TOD performance and gathering together. So this is the MTR station. This is the buffer area of those MTR stations. The darker the color also means the MTR station surface area, they have a better TOD performance. And then this is the area that awaits from the MTR station, and those area awaits from MTR station, but they have a very high and dark colored. It means that those places they will have their potential for further developments. So I hope Hong Kong, I hope this story map you can enjoy about it, so you can review it again. Because of time limitation, I cannot like introduce it very in depth to you guys. So thank you.
Thank you, David. So I would like to apologize once again about technical issues just now, and thank you for your patience. So in the coming, may we now invite Eric to present on his project, Save People from the Concrete Barriers. Eric, please.
Hello, everyone. It's very lucky for me to win the 2021 Young Scholars Award. And thank you for your coming. And the winning story map title is Save People from the Concrete Barriers, Integrated Assessment of Visual and Physical Accessibility to Nature in 3D Cities. Numerous studies in the psychology, physiology, urban health found that a high-quality window view of nature has a huge influence on human mental and physical health and personal performance. People show a high preference on a window of nature, and people often go climb mountains or go hiking. People love nature. On the contrary, poor access to nature may lead to stress and diseases, and weaken one's productivity at offices. In front of you, if it's a window of view, it's a door wall, maybe you will feel depressed for a long-term occupation in such a narrow space in Hong Kong. So a window view is a significant medium for people to visually access nature, especially for high-density urban cities such as Hong Kong. Especially in the central part, it's very hard for us to access nature. And Hong Kong, the dense population, increasing demand for housing and infrastructure, and rising land prices have made it adopt vertical development strategies. And in the central part, you may use the crowded cityscapes have made us hard to access nature. Nature is in 3D, while our city is in 3D too. So for the same building, a window at 30th floor the view of it is totally different from a window at the second floor. On the second floor, you may also have a view of the street view. But on the 30th floor, you may have a sky view or even a totally beautiful sea view. And at the different locations, you may also see different views. The buildings nearby the seaside can easily have a sea view, right? Alternatively, although people can physically access nature via active measures such as going hiking, jogging, or walking along the seaside, with due to a common practice to travel beyond the concrete barriers. But one has to rely on their windows, especially due to the COVID time. We cannot go abroad. We cannot do some physical activities. So we may rely on the windows for such a long time. So this study presents a nature view index from automatic assessment for the windows in 3D cities and a nature accessibility index by integrating the visual nature view index with a physical accessibility network to nature. This study tries to answer 3 questions. First, how to measure the 3D window views of nature effectively at the urban scale. And second, what are the spatial patterns and reasons for the window view situation in Wan Chai? We use Wan Chai as a case area to review to examine the spatial patterns. And regarding both the visual and the physical accessibility to nature, which buildings and town blocks need to be improved most? Maybe I can answer the 3 questions for you. Recently, a technological window of opportunity opens for this study. For example, we have some new 3D information models opened by the government, such as the Lands Department and Planning Department. Now, some new advanced 3D map view APIs have been opened by Esri ArcGIS Pro platform as ArcGIS Online. And there are also some mature 2D and 3D computer vision tools open online. So this study proposed an automatic analysis workflow to solve these kind of problems. The studies mainly consist of 3 parts: curation of data, nature view index assessment, and integrated analysis of nature view index and the physical accessibility. And some data are related data are collected, such as park network and building footprints. And also we register the photorealistic scenes on the ArcGIS Pro platform, as the built environment can be shown vividly. And maybe you are curious that how can we access nature view at the city level? We use our previously visualization method, and we can set use the function of ArcGIS Pro. We set the locations and settings of the functions, and the cameras can help us turn to the facades and then get the nature window view. And we count the pixels we gather images and we count the pixels so that we can estimate the nature view people can perceive. And then we use a multiple two-level deep learning framework to segment the view images, and by counting the pixels, we get the nature view index. And then we register the window view indices on the building, and at the building level, we get the spatial pattern. And from the statistical result, we found that the nature view index in one child is very low. It's just about 0.2. But for some buildings, they can also have a higher indices, such as 0.5. And from this map, we found that it's very easy for us to understand that buildings along nearby the seaside or nearby the mountains can have a high quality nature view. But you can also find that alongside the Gloucester Road, some buildings may also have a high quality nature view. But we cannot analyze this on the according to the 2D map. So we use a 3D analysis later to analyze it. And you can also, from the heat map, you can also see that some buildings on the dark red parts have a worse situation according to the window view. And then we use a 3D map to analyze the reasons. There are mainly three reasons for buildings to have a good nature view. Firstly, the buildings alongside the near side can have a good nature view. We use a viewshed tool to analyze it. And then some hospitals with artificial greenery can also have a high quality nature view. They can help patients to have a restoration. And we use a view dome tool on ArcGIS Pro to analyze the buildings alongside the Gloucester Road. Some buildings, they have a very lucky position, and they also have a good building height. So they can also have a nature view, even they are on the central part. So which buildings and people need more access to nature? As we know, people can not only can access nature by window, they can also access nature visually. So we use network analysis to measure the physical accessibility. So we compute the computing time of each building, and then we combine this index with our nature view index so that we can get the final result. And this is a heat map of the physical accessibility. And then we combine these two indices, and finally we got the result. And we found that buildings in these three clusters in red mainly have worse situations in both aspects. And by using the town planning board's planning units, we register the heat map to the units, and we recommend 5 aged building blocks for urban URA's consideration or town planning board's consideration. It's very lucky for me to work at URA, and URA aims to have a district-based urban renewal. So this indicator can be helpful for the future urban renewal, I think. In conclusion, I just got 2 indices to review the spatial pattern, and I combine these 2 indices, and finally I got the nature accessibility index. This index aims to help people to know buildings in worse situations from 2 aspects. So in the future, it may help the planners, architects, dwellers, and for some other decision makers. And future, I will maybe some other works about the AI building optimization or AI town optimization about the urban planning and design will be implemented in based on this work. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Now comes to the panel discussion section. All are welcome to raise questions concerning GIS technology and the development of sustainable smart cities. May all 3 winners please come onto the stage. If you have any questions for them, please raise your hand and we will pass you the microphone. For those who are joining online, please type in your questions in the chat box. So is there any questions for our winners about GIS or sustainable development? Okay, we got some from the chat box. Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much for the interesting presentation. I'm interested to know more about the intuition behind the TOD index. Can you explain when the TOD index is higher, what does it mean? When it is lower, what does it mean? Thank you. Yeah.
Hi, can you hear me? Okay, sorry. So of course, because of time limitation, I didn't explain it a lot. If a place have a higher TOD index or better TOD performance, it means that the place it may have like a better or greater potential for further like property developments or something. While a places if it like has a less TOD performance, it may have, so that we need to encourage like those such as URAs or the government to develop those places. Yeah.
I see. So what are the factors that determine this index?
I just have like 5 criteria and 12 indicators. The 5 criteria is about 5DS models, which generates from 5DS model, including like density, diversity, design, destination, accessibility, and distance to chances. They are the factors that are affecting the TOD index. And on the other hand, those 12 experts that I asked, they also affect the contribution of those TOD indicator and criteria to the TOD index. For example, some experts or some scholars, they may think that like density, they may have a greater contribution to TOD index. So when they help me to fill the questionnaires, if they give a higher score of to that TOD indicator or TOD criteria, then that will have that TOD criteria or TOD indicator may have a high contribution to the TOD index.
Thank you.
Okay, so we got some questions from the chat box. So in the Young Scholar Award, our participants have demonstrated their care for society with an innovative mindset. Could you please share your thoughts on how GIS technology could foster sustainable urban regeneration and planning?
Okay, thank you. Maybe I can share some opinions. Nowadays, I'm working at URA, so I know the urban renewal, regeneration have used the advanced functions in the GIS platform such as ArcGIS Pro. So we use some spatial analysis functions so that we can know the priority of the town blocks. In this case, we may have a priority to have a renewal project. And from my StoryMap, I think I just want to review the patterns of the position of the disparity of nature. So different people may have different position of nature. So it's kind of human life quality, or it can help the future sustainable society development. So maybe it's also an indicator to help the future district-based urban renewal, and we may build more green space as a new area. That's all.
Okay, I'm also working in like URA in the BRD, like building rehabilitation divisions. So I also know that the URA is using like a lot of ArcGIS technology to help them to identify places for building rehabilitations. And I'm also working in related works. Also, like for me to add back with my StoryMap from the previous question, I think it can also help to answer some part of these questions. I didn't explain like all his question previously. So I would like to explain a little bit more. For example, if the TOD index, it has a high TOD index that away from the MTR stations, but it means that those places, they are potential places for like encouraging the MTRCs to build MTR station there, or if the places is like with a low TOD index, but is close to MTR stations, it means that those places, it need to enhance its TOD attributes or TOD performance. Yeah, so that's why GIS can help like to encourage the urban developments. So I hope these examples can demonstrate to you.
Maybe just quick answer this question. So for me, I think one core spirit of this question is actually how to harness technology for the better development. So for me, I think it's actually the categorization, also the management of data all together in one station. For example, the common data environment, which we're going to talk which we are talking about today, is actually one major reason why we need to use technology, because we can combine everything we need to know and put it together for us to use. And I think for my project actually is about how to use technology or use BI model to do some trial and error process, and also do some research before we make some critical decisions. So this is how we can use technology to improve our design, improve our planning, and also to make and refine our development proposal before we really construct it out and also develop it out. So yeah.
For your ideas, and we got a questions for Eric. So yes, did you index every window or every floor on a building face? If not, what was your spatial unit of analysis of a building face? And scaling up, how long would it take to index all buildings on Hong Kong Island or all of Hong Kong?
Okay. Thank you for your question. I think, yeah, it's a very good question. You know, for each building, the windows, the window shape or window size are totally different. So I use a fast sampling method to gather, you know, sample locations of the facades. So for each facade, I use a sample interval of about 20 meters for a large facade and 5 meters for a narrow facade. So use a sampling method, I can sample the facade efficiently. And within this building, I can sample all the you know, facades, and then I can pose a camera at the locations, and then I can capture the window views in batch. And because I use my own workstation, so the you know, for every image, so it may take 2 seconds. But you know, I just use that's the reason why I just use a case area. So the efficiency will be improved in the future. In that case, we may have access the windows of the whole Hong Kong Island, but we should do it step by step. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. So thank you all for the inspiring sharing, and please return to your seat off stage. Thank you all. And in view of time, the Esri Young Scholars Award ceremony is coming to the end. If there's any unanswered questions in the chat box, we'll answer them through email. The YSA entry will be opened in January every year, and the submission will be closed in April. We'll keep you updated with the latest news of our YSA. Please don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel that get the latest updates on GIS technology, and rewatch our videos, including the 5 minutes lunch GIS takeaway and webinar series. To stay tuned and get the latest update on GIS news, please like and subscribe to our Facebook page, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And for any inquiries, please contact us by phone or email as shown in the PowerPoint. You may also scan the QR code to visit our company website for more product news and details. Thank you all again for attending the ceremony, and don't forget to get a little souvenir at the end when you leave this room. And thank you all, and hope to see you soon in our next event.